Alright everyone, welcome back to another Natred Review. My name is Natred. I'm going to be taking a look at some downstick fighting today featuring Warlord Brett against Squires Paulo and Sir Collister. I'm not super familiar with who these folks on the right are, which one's Sir Paulo and which one's Sir Collister. I know that Brett over here on the left is Warlord for a long time, one of the best foam fighters in the States, now doing some steel fighting. And so let's take a look at it. This video kind of comes to me recommended. There was a discussion on the Serious Foam Fighters page about downpull in general. I think it was kind of a meme post by Warlord Raven about how downpull is actually not unbeatable. In my personal experience fighting the downpull fighters that I fought is that I never found it to be that threatening in general, but I totally recognize that, one, I'm not the most experienced fighter, well, the most well-traveled fighter and the most experienced fighter, and two, I probably didn't get a chance to fight some people who really made downpull, being good at downpull their goal. So this video and that post was recommended to me to check out, and I didn't know that I was going to be watching some 2v1 footage. And so knowing that Brett's one of the best fighters, at this time in particular, this is from GORG the Blacksmith's channel. Please drop him a subscribe, buy his swords, they're great. This is from 5 years ago. Definitely one of the better foam fighters around at the time. And so knowing that, and knowing that he's fighting downpull, I'm ready to see some pretty impressive things here. So let's give it a watch and see what we have.
Yes. Your first one here was
2v1 with Brett Warlord versus Paulo and Collister of Sparmy Bros. Winter War 2018. First to 10 wins.
Okay. So it looks like we open up here with a pretty quick kill on our fighter with the heater. And one thing that I'm finding extra impressive about this so far is that this is at Winter Wars, which is a BEL event. And one of the things that I long thought was going to be true about downstick fighting is that it's not going to be as effective in a game that has significant force. Because, I mean, just look at the length of this lever that Brett's holding in his left hand. It's going to be hard in a lot of situations to make significant force with this unless you're doing these big sweeping motions. And so this would lead you to believe that these big sweeping motions would be super easy, super telegraphed and super easy to block. It looks like, though, Brett picks up a quick kill on the fighter in the with using the heater shield here. Looks like a very, very clean and very narrow but well landed leg shot, and then this arm here picking it up. And we're left with our begoggled fighter here, fighting a 1v1, which I can tell you from my tiny amount of experience fighting Brett, it's not where you want to be. It's not where you want to be. So I think what we're seeing here is maybe not being super, a fighter who's not super comfortable with down spear fighting. To be clear, I'm not the most experienced with down spear fighting either. However, I believe that one thing you don't want to do is be floating out here really inactive. Having this down spear fighter be able to aggress towards you. Yeah, and he lands that shoulder again. Having the down spear fighter be able to dictate the pace and aggress towards you is going to end you up in a lot of situations like this, where he's able to cleanly set up the shot for the leg, which was a bit too much respect for, and doesn't block the shoulder. And this seems kind of like the classic TikTok shot of downpull fighters. You throw this threatening shot with your pull, and you throw this shot to the shoulder with your sword arm. And this is not dissimilar to what I see a whole lot with Florentine fighters, where you'll very quickly, like, ba-beat, ba-beat, ba-beat. But the whole goal being, you know, trying to trick your opponent into thinking they have to move their shield to block a shot. And the second they start that movement, you're already throwing the movement to exploit that. And I think that it gets sold so much harder whenever you are fighting with a down pull, because the thing you're swinging is so much bigger. It kind of makes your inner monkey brain want to respect it more. Yeah, I was gonna say it looked pretty like a clean shot on Brett. I wouldn't say these two folks here have the most cohesive strategy, but they both look to be pretty aggressive and keen on capitalizing. So the second one starts to charge about as fast as humanly possible to recognize and change direction. We have the other coming in. And yeah, you can't blame this fighter in the goggles here for taking a second to call dead. Foam fighting's very fast. And honestly, I think the way Brett was turning, it looked like the assumption was made there by Brett that the fighter is already dead. So I don't think he would have changed his actions that much. Yeah, their point, for sure. Let's analyze this one a bit. So we have, going into the ultimate exchange here, we have this leading fighter here in the goggles. And we have our heater shield fighter trailing a little bit. The close starts. And again, it's just that same tick-tock. We thrust with the down pull, over respect with the shield, land the shoulder shot. Clean kill on the round shield fighter. And for our heater shield compatriot, it's hard to tell because, you know, we are limited by the video quality. Brett may have landed a shot there. Let's see. Did we just see the same bullshit again? He can't keep getting away with it! Yeah, just straight stabbed to the chest, right? And so it's a lack of respect. It's a lack of respect and familiarity I'm feeling. Like, of course, Brett is a fan-fucking-tastic fighter, but I'm seeing a lot of mistakes being made by the guys on the far side here that just look like a lack of understanding. Like, right there, it seemed like we didn't either they didn't respect how accurate Brett can be, but did not understand how long his spear was. And now, yeah. Man, Brett is so good at fucking with these guys' minds right here. Brett is a mile away. He's a mile away. But because of how, like, worried we are about that wrap coming in for the shield side arm or shoulder, we're moving our giant shield to block this little sword flourish from a mile outside, letting Brett land this fucking stick. I want to make the large acknowledgement here that I don't think I would be able to deal much better. I'd simply like to point out that I feel like the failings we're seeing here, or the losses at least we're seeing here from our two fighters against Brett, they just don't look like they've got a lot of reps in against downpull. And, you know, I could be wrong. You know, we see some frustration there. And that frustration leads me to believe further that maybe we're just not understanding the weapon setup, the reach, The pick to the leg there, I think, is super forgivable. You know, while I keep saying you need to know the reach of this weapon, it's impossible to know for sure, but it's easy to make little mistakes like that. You should have a general understanding. And I can't bring myself to understand how he's this far away and we're throwing this much shield movement against it. Like, this seems like a position where just like a good shield posture would block almost every downstick shot that Brett can throw. Man, Brett obviously has awesome timing and accuracy. Man, I bet if you had never seen downspear in action before, and this video was your first introduction to it, yeah, it would definitely look fucking insane. And again, I want to be very clear. I don't think that I'm some fucking whiz kid. I think that I would also be meat for Brett's table if we were fighting here. See, all right. There's a good bit of fucking teamwork. Yeah. Not how sure if this is super intentional, but if we watch our fight here with the heater shield, he takes this direct line, sternum to sternum almost, towards Brett, while our fighter in the round shield hits this nice flank here, and you catch him spread out. And from this situation, it really is just about flailing. Once you have somebody on two sides, the necessity for shot accuracy goes down a good deal. This is a good running down there. Good job confirming the kills. Also, toast to the couple of viewers. Have a drink on me. Okay, very good movement by Brett there. They almost caught him in the same canard they had before. This little pinch. Brett has the presence of mind to realize where he is in this three-dimensional space. Rotate out to the left. Make this fighter in the red and the gray chase the begoggled fighter. I agree, it's light. Play the rules of the game for sure. Man, this is just not... I would just not be baiting this much shoulder against Brett. Yep, and it's that sway, baby. It's that sway. If you let that down pull fighter sway back and forth and get you following their motion, it's going to be very hard to get inside and exploit it. So talk about just some ways that I feel like you get inside of a down pull fighter. You have to find a way to manage that spearhead. You have to find a way to close inside of it without getting killed. And in this game, especially in Belagarth, you can just contact it. You can just like swing your sword into it when you get the chance. You can punch block the fuck out of it. However, you have to make sure that you're doing that as an isolated motion with your right hand. If you throw a bunch of shield movement into that also, it's going to open you up for Brett's like right hand. You can't just float outside and let Brett set the pace continuously. And maybe they're just tired, you know? Brett looks super duper fresh here. But like right here, let's imagine both these guys had a shit ton of stamina, right? Like, boom, fighter on the ground could be knee walking, while fighter standing up could be going for a flank. A nice dig for the trade there. Basically, if you're fighting 2v1, you can always lose a guy. If you lose a guy for a limb, you're fine. Good. Good. Hit that same cadence. Split them up. Split them up. Really? Well struck. You know, it looks like it's late. These fighters are probably tired. But at this point, you know, we have our heater shield fighter who keeps regripping into the same guard here, and we have that shoulder exposed for Brett's right hand, and we also are opening up because the left top point of our heater is canted over. Not only is our shield arm open, it's opening up that gap to our sword arm as well. Sorry, I got the verbal flatulence. I'm burping. So Brett does a very good job here of keeping his spear and what I think has to be the strongest grip angle and distance from body that you can. It really is going to make you close within reach of that bat to make contact with that spear and clear it like I was talking about. Especially, Brett looks like he's using an exceptionally long bat here. Okay, way to stay in the pocket and trade. Don't get sloppy. See, I see a lot of people who will, get their opponent down an arm and not give it a ton of respect. Definitely don't want to do that here. You do not get to be in the top tier of foam fighting without being able to figure out how to kill a shieldman while you're one-armed. And so again, the odds are probably still going to be in your favor, but you need to play the most safe, conservative, by the books fundamentals game that you can. And Brett's showing so much aggression here. Really just every time he gets the slimmest chance, walking his opponents down. Even here. Like this should not be a situation where as a shieldman you feel like you're on the defensive side, right? Oh, that was so close. I feel like Brett's really shown them some stuff that they haven't seen before, and these couple of fellas might be a little bit rocked, might be a little bit intimidated. Nice of Brett there, told him not to take it. There it is. Yeah, it's so weird. I almost felt like saying, you need to show. I feel like a second ago I was saying, yeah, the people he's good can obviously pick up a win while down an arm. Then I feel like I was just saying after that, you got to disrespect him a little bit, and really you got to find the balance. You have to find a way to be aggressive and force the fact that you have an advantage, while not getting so sloppy slop that you open up the chance for the comeback win for your opponent. Close. Like Brett's trying to reach for that back knee, the good leg that's off the ground, but maybe it's come up a little bit light both times. And I'd like to point out that our fighter on the left here has not adjusted his knee stance at all. He just keeps kind of soaking shots to that leg, and they've been light 2-3 times in a row. Eventually, I feel like Brett might find that range and land it significant there. Close. Man, all of these are close. Seen almost no shots thrown from the goggle fire in a second. I feel like if Brett's trying to play this range game, then you should probably be trying to hit Brett in the forearm. Throw a counter to that 4. It's hard though when Brett's throwing straight down your fucking the sword side armpit slot. Yeah. Caught him while he's adjusting. Yep, well done. Again, I just want to point out, you take a fucking half cunt split hair of a second to readjust, you die. Okay. Kind of uncomfy. Oh, dead. Yep. In that situation, I again, I'm not saying it would work 100% for sure, but I would be definitely trying to think about Brett's forearm.
First to 10. Paulo and Collister, Sparmy Bros versus Warlord Brett.
Yeah, and so 2v1, every time you let the one guy set the tempo, you're opening up so many opportunities for him to pick an easy fucking limb like that, and then the odds get much worse. You're still probably in your favor, but much worse. All right, now I get to see the rematch here. Almost up in the hip. We also see Brett moving all the way down on the grip on his down spear to give some more, like, defense. Oh, never mind. He's armed. Shut up, Drunk Nate. And again, we're just not seeing really any shots come out of our goggled fighter on the ground here. Yeah. It's just kind of letting Brett, you know, find his range. So I'm not sure if you guys caught it, but they called an action word there. They called a split. Let's watch how it breaks down real quick. So right here they call split. Brett immediately tries to turn and burn to his side, making this fighter with the round shield the trailing fighter. Fortunately, just pure aggression here makes the heater shield trade for the shot, and that's kind of what I've been talking about this whole time through. If you have 2v1, you can always sack a guy for a limb. You can always sack a guy for a kill. As long as one of you is standing at the end, it's going to be a W for you. And here we just see a little bit of recklessness. You know, may as well. All right, on to the new round. And again, Brett's doing a really good job of realizing when he's being charged. Okay, so that's the death. Split again gets called. Brett realizes what is coming. Chooses this time to dart to the right direction. Our Cog Shield fighter is not savvy enough to get the kill, like we saw previously. They get tangled up in each other, and Brett's able to successfully disengage. And I don't know if this is the right decision here to retreat back to the wounded fighter. When you already have him backpedaling, you're already in mid-exchange, I feel like you're better off just trying to sack yourself to hit a limb, and then let your down fighter finish it. So we have that down fighter now who has 2 limbs thrust off. He's trying to regrip his sword behind his shield. He's got it up. Yeah. And so this fighter with the heater shield, all this, all the work he did, or I'm not saying he did a shit ton of work, but every ounce that he put into not dying is for a loss there. Where if he had just sacked himself, he may have ended up getting a limb, getting an arm or a leg off of Brett. So it didn't work out, but again, this is what I would like to see. Okay, I'm on my own, go in hard. Brett sticks. The block throws under, there's some contact, and throws to clear. Yeah. A little bit too all in there, you know, a little bit too much bashing, not enough fighting. So some takeaways that I'm getting from this on Brett's side is his decision making on which way to rotate. His field sense is lightning quick. He also has a lot of presence. He's able to, at the start of the fight, decide to be the one that's dictating the fight, which is incredibly powerful. What I'm gathering from these fellas on the other side is, I talked about this a lot at the beginning, is just I feel like there's just a lack of familiarity with the weapon setup and the tricks that it has, the way that it cheats. Because, you know, there you go, every fighting combination, quote unquote, cheats in one way or the other. Okay, there's a nut shot there. Yeah, so shields, you know, you have a really asymmetrical setup, a lot of coverage. Florentine, you got 2 swords, hell yeah. Fighting great weapon, or red as it were, you have a lot of reach and leverage. And fighting with this down pole, you have a lot of sneakiness. You have 2 very lethal weapons that hit at really different ranges and speeds. And that can really boil your brain if you're not ready for it. Interesting, interesting. So Brett, instead of trying to finish this single, switched over his pole. And I wonder if you're just kind of trying to flex or Rex a little bit. Didn't quite pick it. So I believe at the end, let's see. The two picked it up, but it wasn't the clearest pickup in the entire goddamn world. Yeah. So, y'all know me if you watched a lot of these videos. I get really hesitant to make like super duper solid claims. I talk a whole lot and express my opinions, but when it comes to offering like really hardcore analysis, it's hard to do via video, man. Um, I feel like I'm not going to be able to have that much of an educated thought on it until I fight people who have fought a lot with their downspear setup. I will say that I think the biggest thing going wrong with the other two fighters is that they weren't super experienced with it. Not just in like they've never fought a good downpull fighter, but they just haven't really fought many in general. Because I've had a chance to fight quite a few mediocre downpull fighters, and that has a negative connotation. Like middling, average, like definitely not bad, but like middle of the pack downpull fighters. It doesn't feel that super threatening, especially in a 2v1. So I think this video is an absolute testament to both Brett's skill and the kind of inexperience, not lack of skill, but the inexperience with the weapon set of the other two fighters involved here. So thank you for watching. I am streaming right now. If you want to watch me stream, you can find me on YouTube as well. And I will see you again soon.